New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hey everybody, it's Donna, and my special guest today is my son, Emmanuel. Hello. And we are so glad to be here today, caring for caregivers. Actually, today we're going to have Emmanuel, and then later on in the show, we're going to have Norma joining us. So what is caring for caregivers? Well, as a registered nurse and a minister in the Alliance of Divine Love and a Reiki master, and as a daughter that cared for my mother that lived with us, and as a mother myself to children, raising children, I just know that we tend to give, and then we feel that we're being selfish when we try to take for ourselves. And so that is what we're talking about right now. Different things that we can do to help to lift the load that is us caring for others, so we can give our gift, but we can replenish that which we need because we're also viable. And that is why, as a practitioner for Center for Spiritual Living, the New Thought Media Network is just so wonderful in the New Thought community, and all these other shows that are out there, we are targeting those who care for others. And Emmanuel Davis cared for my mom. She lived in our house. We had a 3-generation house, and she helped me with my mother and was there for grandma and when we had beginning Alzheimer's, and she was definitely a treasure and an interesting individual and gave us all kinds of wonderful Mummy stories. But she was a challenge, and being a young teenager and even a young child living with an elder that needed care, you had to replenish your own well-being and be able to unplug from it, because some of that was heavy stuff for you and your sister and the other kids that were in our home to be able to deal with. So before we even dive into today's aspect of self-care that we're talking about, we're just going to go ahead and do a centering moment, shall we? All right, let's just take this second. I got a little bit of stress away here. I'm going to do a drop of that. Would you like one?
Of course.
There we go. Yes. And we are just going to rub those hands together. I love essential oils. That was one of the aspects that we talked about of care. We allow those oils to just come up through our nostrils and into our body as we center down into the spot that we're taking up right now. Into this chair, into this moment, into this conversation, knowing that others are listening to the sound of our voices and something inside of them is clicking in and they're saying, yes, I can do that for myself. I can care for me too, while I'm out there helping others who are vulnerable and need us. Yes, I can also take care of me. And we breathe in that knowingness that we are being divinely guided and that we are being replenished by divine life energy is coming back through us. As we give, so we receive. And it's okay that we can also receive so that we may give, and we also receive and we may give. And sometimes we have to give to ourselves. And we step into that today with an open heart and an open mind. And so it is. Amen. Ashe.
So it is. Amen. Ashe.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us into that centering moment. Oh my goodness, I like that part. That's probably my favorite part. And then we dive into what our aspect of caregiving is for today. Where's Sister Norma tonight? She is actually going to be joining us in a little bit, Bonnie. This is my son, Emmanuel Davis,
Hello.
and he is coming on today to talk about today's aspect of self-care. Ready? Dun, dun, dun. What is today's aspect of self-care? Video games. Video games. My goodness, video games. So we know that I am not well. Okay, y'all see me. Spiritual mind treatment, I got you. Meditation, got you. Jambe jumps, got you. Video games, don't got you. I did not use this as an aspect of self-care because it didn't work. I am not very good at competition, y'all. I get in my feelings real easy when I die or, drive off the thing, and I get very annoyed. But,
understandable,
But we've discovered through our awesome son here, virtual reality, because travel is one of the things I love to do. But y'all know to travel, you need money, lots and lots and lots of money. So guess what? I was like, that kind of sucks. I would love to go to, I don't know, London, or I'd love to go to Africa. So Emmanuel said, Mom, check out this thing called a VR. So let's show them what this VR is. This is the aspect of video games that I use. And they have this really cool app called Wander. And I plug in and then I go to wherever in the world I want to go. And I believe that it uses Google
Map
Google
images,
mapping
and
images.
it uses a 360 kind of imagery to it, and you have a specific area that you're able to like wander off to, but it has so many like different areas. You can either go to like Notre Dame, you can go to Hawaii, you can go to the middle of Tokyo. I've explored bars in Tokyo, like the outside of them, and seen them like 2 years in the past because they have like a time-lapse feature. It's incredible. You're able to learn a bunch of history because once you find a beautiful place, you start looking it up. It gives almost
you
like
all the
you're
information
there.
Right there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, it doesn't look what I thought it would look like.
It wasn't hard on the eyes, nearly as bad.
No, it wasn't as bad because you were able to adjust it because I wear glasses. So that was another thing. I really love the Oculus VR, and we have been coming up with this amazing idea that Emmanuel has birthed through himself to create a space that people can come and enjoy the Oculus experience together. Because sometimes you want to experience it, but you don't have the equipment, or you don't have the money to go out and get the equipment.
Yeah.
And so being able to do something like that and do it together in a community type of setting, where young people get a chance to come in and be together and to do stuff that's fairly safe.
Yeah, because the whole Wander experience, you can hook up with multiplayer, and you are able to go out with your friends and look at these other places. Because I found this one out only because of another app called Alcove, which is sort of like a self-care healing app, which is funny about that. You can sit there and play like checkers with online friends. You can sit there, you could go to Wander. There's like a 3.5 hour like driving video that you guys can just sit and watch. It's really cool.
That's really nice. And I love that. But that's my way of plugging into video games, because it allows me to step out of the world that I'm in here and to step into a different world. And one of the things we wanted to add to, I'm taking these glasses off. I'm making myself distracted from the glasses. It's ridiculous.
It's all good.
But one of the things that we wanted to add to LifeLift, for example, which Phoenix is involved in something called LifeLift, which is a nurse registry. And one of the things we want to offer to our patients is for those who are bedbound and cannot no longer leave the home, to have Emmanuel come in with the VR and put them in that wonder experience so that they can travel, so that they can get on a stage again and know what that feels like, so they can scuba dive again when their body might no longer be able to do this, and to be able to have someone who understands it in such a way that they can be guided for the experience. I love, love, love this idea. And I feel like technology, this is one of the things that technology is allowing for us to do, is to be able to not be limited to the physical body. And that's why I like the video game. I love the VR. So what's your favorite type of video game?
So my favorite type of video game on the VR specifically would have to be a game called Stride. It's more of a like parkour game. There's a little bit of like action violence to it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like very basic goons, and it's like very like telegraphed and choreographed. However, my favorite part is you actually have to move your arms around while you're running. You have to like press a certain button and release it while like jumping in order to do a certain action. It really like puts you into that sense of like immersion within the actual game, and it gives you that also that form of exercise that you're looking for, just in case of like you can't go out for the day and you want to sit there and you're trying to get things done. It's just absolutely fantastic.
So you are able to actually move your body and virtually while you're wearing. So what is the piece that you have on?
So the pieces that I would have on would be like the headpiece right here, which would rest firmly on the head when you can adjust it with these two straps back here. They allow you to adjust the width and the height where the top of the head. And these two controllers, which represent the right and the left controller. Now this grip button.
Okay, so they can't see the grip
button. My bad. So this grip button right here represents the middle button. And every single time you press it down, for the most part, if the game has hands, it will push down this and these two buttons. So as you're holding this, it will make a fist in the game.
Oh, okay.
If you do this, it makes a point in the game, like a pointer finger. You do this, it opens up your hand, so that way you can go ahead and it's almost as if you can put your controller down. There's special straps that you can like rest it, so that way you don't have to hold them, and you can just pretend like they're your actual hands and move about.
Gotcha.
It's again very immersive.
So what is it that you see? I think we have a clip here. Diego, if you could put that clip up so we can see what it looks like.
You actually have to swing your arms and everything.
Wow. I'm tired just watching.
I won't lie, those pants are actually real, because that was probably like the third or fourth run that I did before I started recording.
Oh my goodness. And I know that you have this Twitch. Is it Twitch?
Yeah,
that you go on and you play video games and other people watch you play video games? Is that?
I have a Twitch, but I also have another program that I use to stream. But primarily, I like to stream off of YouTube, Twitch, and Streamlabs. But probably later on, I'll just end up posting in the comments exactly what it is I stream on, because honestly, it's a lot of fun to just come in, see those cute little things. You can interact with people on it as well, so it's pretty immersive. It's like a tiny transparent screen, so that way you can read the chat.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I mean, who would have thought that video games would be something for self-care?
Yeah.
So let's say you went out and you worked all day and you come home, you have a 2-year-old. Well, a 1-year-old. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He has a toddler. So you come home and Miss Corrine is having her moment, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna unplug for a second, go reset myself, and you plug into your video game. Yes. What does it do to your body? How do you feel when you do that?
Well, whenever in a situation like that, I typically like to load in a fishing game. But what it helps me do is it allows me to sit there, unwind, and disconnect from all the chaos. It allows my brain to take a second and not necessarily push it in a closet, but back burner it, so that way I can one at a time individually sort through it without making it feel like a giant wall. Now it's just giant, like tinier pieces to a giant puzzle that I don't have to look at immediately, and I can just focus at my own pace.
You can just take your time. So you bring yourself down, the energy down, and kind of relax.
There's no clock in there, so you lose track of time so quickly. So it's really dependent on whether or not you if you drink enough water and if you feel like staying in there, if you're playing a sitting game, you can be in there for like 5. I've been in there for like 7 hours before while the charger was on there, and I completely forgot about it. I was like, whoa, just gets up. Oh my goodness. So
oh my goodness. Isn't that something? So you have to be careful not to allow yourself to get so immersed that nothing else happens.
Yeah.
Because I think that's
Don't
what happens
drown
with
in it.
gamers,
Mhm.
especially teenagers or young people that, you know, your family's like, oh my God, all you do is video games all day long. But for them, time stands still.
But with the
Essentially.
VR now, because of how much exercise you can get with it, there's a bit more of a lenience towards it because they're still getting their exercise or activities for the day, but they're still playing games. It's only bad for the eyes once you go past it for, like, I personally believe 4 hours should be maximum for any growing young adult. Like, even me, when I push it past 4 hours eventually, even with water, I just need a break. It
Yeah.
legitimately is much better. You don't get as discombobulated. It doesn't, it feels great to be able to enjoy yourself, but even just 30 minutes of taking off the VR and taking a second, you'll come to find out that you were happy with the time that you had real quickly, and you don't completely disconnect from the actual world. You can take care of yourself, give yourself those few moments of time, and run off to like Paris.
So have like a timer set that's separated from the game, because that's an issue. And I'm glad that you bring that up, because people will be like, okay, so here I am, I'm in this virtual world, now what? And you don't have an Emmanuel sitting here watching you or making sure that you're in. So to put in a timer on the outside world, so that way you don't dive in so deep that you forget and hours go by and don't get anything else done.
You are your own, essentially, you're diving into a dream. You are consciously going into an unconscious state is what I feel. You are now playing a game, and because of that, you are now in that dreamlike middle state where fantasy can be anything. The dream, you don't know what's going to happen in that game. You don't know what's going to happen in that dream. And if you set a timer, that's like waking up in the morning. You don't want to stay asleep your entire life. That's comatose. That's dead.
Right.
Nobody wants that.
Right.
And it's the same thing with video games. You still need to eat, sleep properly, and, actually take care of your physical form, because it's not a magical thing to instantly fix you, but it does help you distract and reorganize yourself a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, VR is it's very fascinating to me, because at first I thought it was just one of those like other video games, like an Xbox or a PS4 or something like that. But with VR, for me, it's almost like a second life. It's almost like now I have this body, this avatar, that I can still participate in my real life activities, but I can also do something like, if I'm mad at somebody, I can enter a boxing ring and box NPCs and not actually hurt people in real life. That's something that people don't look at. Is some people look at video games as a way to create violence in teens, like Grand Theft Auto and such, but some people don't actually see it as it could be a way to let out some steam from these adolescents, these growing up, and VR is a great way of doing that without actually harming people. And it's as long as you can mentally prepare yourself to being like, this is something that will help me calm down, and you don't look at it as this is something to prepare myself to do something hurtful, you'll find that VR is one of the best coaches that I've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like, diving into VR but not drowning in it is an amazing feeling, because you come out and you feel more energized than when you go in. Almost.
Yeah. So it's kind of a way of restructuring your mind and your brain by taking you out of this situation or this story or this world, and putting you just have to make sure that your physical form is taken care of, because obviously you can just be stuck there, which can happen with with young people, especially if they don't have someone there, and especially parents, because I always encourage the children to to go ahead and dive into the video game, but to also have the timer, this is what we're doing here, this is what we're doing there. And I always respected that. And I remember that was one of the things. If I ever came in and you were in the middle of a game, you'd say to me, Mom, I need to save first.
Yes.
And so I respected that, because if I was working on an art project, for example, and somebody came in and interrupted me, I'd be like, give me a second to save my work or save my document.
Or like finish up this last stroke so that way it all dries properly if it's like a
Right.
paint project.
Correct.
So if I get back to the save point, at least I know that I'm in a safe area and I can
Mhm.
just get right back to it.
Yeah.
Another huge point in VR that I love about it is your avatar, it's an automatic save point for the most part. Like when I load up into Stride, because it's like the game reloads every single run and I'm just running and parkouring,
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to just enjoy that time when I am in there, take it off, and it would feel like I'm benefiting myself, but at the same time, I'm enjoying myself with that entertainment.
And you're also moving your physical form.
Exactly. I'm benefiting myself by running because I like to actually act out the movement. So when I'm jogging and in VR, it causes less nausea to it. So it makes it so I can hold it a lot longer because I'm actually jogging. It feels like I'm running and stuff. I keep the fan on me so that way it keeps like a cool breeze. But yeah, it's
an experience. So is that your
Yes.
favorite type of video game? Is the VR? Because I know the VR is my favorite type of video game.
Honestly,
the VR is your favorite too.
Yeah, right next to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I've got to say VR is my favorite simply because I'm able to be the character. Like, imagine, if you will, you have a rough day, but then you want to be like a king or a knight of a land or even like an Amazonian princess. You put that VR on, there's probably an app out there where you're just able to just be that for no reason. Live a farm life, go ahead. Be a fisher, by all means. Heck, I just got Minecraft on it. I didn't think Minecraft would see the day.
And Minecraft is like a huge thing for the young people. So that's one of the things that I wanted to say is that, yes, as we are figuring out all these different tools that people can use to be able to get themselves back to this sense of, okay, I've taken care of me. When I am at work, for example, I have a practice that I do from time to time called 3-4-5. It's what it's called. That's something I came up with one day. And I said 3-for-5. I give myself a 15-minute break. And in my 15-minute break, sometimes I don't get a 15-minute break, but I can get a 5-minute break. So I do something for my mind, something for my body, something for my spirit, 5 minutes each time for my 12-hour shift. If I'm able to get my 3-for-5. One of the things I've done for my mind is plug into a game. Mm-hmm. And it takes me out of the hospital and out of what I'm doing. When I'm doing my little 5 minutes, I set an alarm on my watch, my Apple Watch, for 5 minutes. And for 5 minutes, I sit down in a quiet little area, go for my little break, pop in a little game, and do something to stimulate my mind that takes me out of the beeping in the hospital and all of that. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I do in the moment when I'm at the job, or, when you were with grandma there for a while, she would sometimes pull out the game and you'd show her, hey, this is what I'm doing. And she'd ask you her questions and
she'd have no clue what was going on. But I'd be like, Grandma, it's all right, because half the time I don't even know either. I skipped half the dialogue. What's even funnier is there's a quote, all work but no play makes a dull person. Mm-hmm. So being able to take those 5 minutes to play your game really actually benefits you in the end because it keeps you centered. It's sort of like being Superman without Lois Lane. You need that human part of you to stay human. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what games do to me, is it keeps me being me.
Isn't that something? Because you would think that the games would pull you out of being human. Yeah. But it actually helps you feel more human.
Exactly. You would think that playing video games, you would think, okay, I say that I play video games all the time, but let me ask you, how often do I hang out with my friends? How often do I talk to my friends? How often do I hang out with my family? I spend a lot of time with my community, but at the same time, I still have time to play video games. Mm-hmm. So I don't see video games as something that would destroy someone's social life. And I still even get sleep too, so it doesn't destroy sleep. And I still work. So it's like, and I take care of a baby.
And
so
you
it's like,
schedule it in, right?
exactly.
You schedule it in and you set that timer and you allow yourself to enjoy that moment and you allow yourself to be in that moment. Because some people may go for a long hot bath and he'll choose to play video games. Some people read a book. Some people watch a movie. He goes into the VR world. So it's just what you're choosing that works for you. And for Emmanuel and so many others, video games does it. And I've realized that, thank goodness, now we're taking away the stigma of you're lazy if you play video games, because now you have grown men that are in their 30s and 40s and 50s that play video games as a way to unwind, and grown women who do the same thing. I remember there was one specific little video game that I used to play. It was this fish game, a fishing tank or something like that. And we had little babies and we shared babies or something. For the longest time, every time
it's
we
like
had
a little
babies,
plastic rod or something, like with a tiny string, and like when you put it down, it's like magnets, and they would like clip onto the magnet.
No, not that one. It was the one with the little village that you created, and then the little.
Oh, that's Virtual Village.
Yes,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to play that with Alore all the time.
Yes, and it was so much fun to go in there, and every time I opened up my little village app thing, it ended up having little babies and things like that.
You're like,
plants
I can't. You're like, I can't handle this.
That was my idea of video games because, well, we all know virtual reality.
A video game's a video game, honestly.
Yes.
You're a gamer. It doesn't matter what game you play. It's just you're a mobile gamer. It's different.
It's a different
it's the same thing.
Yes. You know, anytime you have, and thank you, Bonnie, taking the judgment out of the activity leads to greater enjoyment. If it makes you happy and it helps you to unwind after a long day of work, then, and it's not hurting nobody.
People drink alcohol.
What is the problem with just allowing to enjoy that thing?
Exactly.
And there's no shame in it. There is no judgment in it. There's no, oh my God, you're lazy, or oh my God, you're selfish because baby's in the other room crying and someone else is tending to baby while you allow yourself to unwind. The same thing with anybody else who uses this particular modality. So guess what? We're going to talk to Norma. Norma's going to come on the show after this break that we're about to go into. Norma's going to come back on the show. We're going to talk about video games some more. But I really enjoy.
She's been beating me in some like arcade games recently, dog. It's been shocking. I even brought the plug and play down, and she's still whooping me in it. I can't believe it.
The two of them are so funny with the video games, but it's not my thing to do. But we got the virtual world. You and I do the Wonder thing together.
Hey, I got you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. That's the whole.
And Terminator. Terminator is always fun.
Heck yeah, the Terminator one. Yeah.
It was at the bowling alley. We went to Terminator and we popped in our money, and the two of us would.
That was crazy. Yeah. I wish we could buy one of those machines.
Oh, man, that would be so cool. It was a lot of fun. But video games is today's topic, and just how you can get all that little angst and stress out of there, and how you can just step into a different world. Man,
yes.
It was awesome talking to you, dude.
It was awesome talking to you, too.
It's been great. All right, we're going to go on a break. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back. Kathy, what's the experience been like so far here at the Transformation Vacation?
To say transformational is not quite big enough. It has been so amazing. The people have been amazing. The food, the beaches are exactly what you expect them to be. You can see through it. I went snorkeling and saw starfish and all kinds of beautiful fish. It's been amazing. And most importantly, everyone who said yes to this has just been inspirational and really just a connection has been made that will last a lifetime.
It will. It so will.
It will.
So I can't wait to see y'all next time. Come on to Jamaica, man. Don't forget, yeah, man. I just love that. Yeah, man. What? Kathy Stringer. Oh my goodness. It was so much fun hanging out with her at Transformation Vacation.
Well, John too. You know, he
And
was
John.
a musician of choice.
My goodness, it was just incredible, and everybody just had such a great time. And when we tell people we are transformed by doing absolutely nothing.
Yes, because
We
here,
just-
actually, in your everyday life, how many times do you actually have time to do nothing?
And then
It's-
occasionally we went out and did something. We went on, excursions and, went and visited different parts of the island and did different things. But for the most part, we did nothing.
There were no have-tos.
Nope. And whatever we felt like doing, we did it. And if we didn't feel like doing it, we didn't do it. And that's how we did it as a group. It was so wonderful. And we were definitely transformed.
Yes.
I believe that we just allowed our bodies to heal and eat good food and drink amazing wine and just heal.
You know, I think it's not just transformative of our minds and our spirit. And there's a couple that went with us. They don't do any gluten when they're here in the States. They're strictly paleo. But over there, they ate everything everybody else ate. The bread, everything. And they never had one issue.
Yeah.
So,
It was nice.
it was nice. It was
very
very, she wrote a review, but we didn't catch her on video, but she was telling us how amazingly transformative this whole trip was for her and her husband.
Yeah. So you definitely want to join us. If you've never been to Jamaica, it's even better. Trust me when I tell you, it's just like it looks on TV and then some. So this place just, my heart. We get to do that once a year, at least once a year for now. All right. So back to today's show. Caring for caregivers, the aspect of caregiving that we're talking about today is video games. Y'all don't understand. And virtual reality, VR, is what we were talking about earlier. But video games, all kinds of video games.
Yeah, I got
not
nothing on
just
the
VR.
virtual reality.
Yeah,
that's not my poison.
Yeah, but she loves
I
video
love
games.
video games though.
So when have you ever used this tool?
Well, first I got into video games when my son was about 3 years old. He's 37 now. So my introduction was quite a few years ago. And I would do it just as a bonding experiment with my son. He really enjoyed it. So I figured I would do it because he was doing it. But now, fast forward, 30 some odd more years, I'd kind of gotten out of the video game world because they got a little bit too advanced, too fast, too everything for me. So yeah, I'd enjoy watching the kids play, but there's very little that I
And
would
Candy
do.
Crush definitely counts as a video game.
So that's so true, Bonnie. Well, I would always play, video games on my phone, but they weren't, the action ones just aren't the same as the ones that you can actually plug and play or, do on a computer or TV. So anytime I got the opportunity to play, usually with not other people around because I'm not really that great, I would kind of sneak in and play video games. So, as I got opportunity like away from work, particularly when I was giving the care, doing massages, doing whatever, and it's just I needed a moment to just breathe. I would go in the room alone. Well, the big room, the meditation room, well, not the meditation, but anyway, the big
Here
room.
at Phoenix, we have the big room. Okay.
And just go in there, close the door, and play video games. And sometimes, I could just feel the stress relieving, just falling off of me. And then there's other times when it just kind of added to it. And I just want to throw the game. But, I wouldn't do that. But For the most
that
part, it's
plug and play.
very,
So
very relaxing. Yes.
it's that old Atari type.
My wonderful son that you just met, Emmanuel Gregory Davis, moved back here about a month ago from Washington State, and he had all these VR things and a PlayStation
because he wants to open that business.
Yes,
that
he's gonna
come
open a
play games
place
together.
for people to come in and play games together. Sounds great for those young folks. Not really much into, like I said, all that fancy VR and all that. I've done VR. It's interesting, I guess, but it just don't beat the old Atari games, the Galaga, the Pac-Man, Dig Dug, all that stuff. So he had this little box that you just plug right into your TV, and I can play Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug to my heart's content.
All those old Atari games.
Yes.
Bang, they showed up.
Yes.
And Norma has her. Oh my gosh, you guys don't understand. My wife is like a little kid. I can see the little side of her, the young girl who longs for her own Atari game and owns that video game. Like, did you have one growing up?
Are you kidding me? I'm 55. They didn't have stuff like that when I was a kid. They had it when I was young adult, almost grown teenager.
And did you have your own? Did you get your own?
No, not till I was married, had a son, and I started buying the stuff for him. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So you get a chance to plug into your teenage self.
Yeah, let's not get into what I do now that brings me back, because I still love Candyland and
I love it.
Board games. Yeah. I never grew up, actually. I just got older.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, hey, who cares? I when I dive into like movies, like Disney movies and stuff like that, I say, oh, this is my young self. I see my young self, like the anticipation. I can imagine that that's what happens with you guys when you're thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna go play this video game. And you're like, oh, I can't wait. And then you sit down there and it's like the teenager comes out and is able to dive in and do your thing.
Yeah, I'm like Wayne. I don't get older. I level up.
Yep.
And you know what? Just on a side note, as I look at pictures of myself 10 years ago, I do look younger now, even with the gray and stuff. I look younger now than I did 10 years ago. So maybe it's the video games.
Maybe it is the video games. Who knows? But the fact that you use this as a way to relax. Like for me, to plug into video games, it gives me angst. So here I am trying to get to whatever, trying to catch it. And my body's not moving fast enough. And I get frustrated. And then I'm like, oh my God. And now you're falling off of whatever cliff and you're dying in the game. And you're like, beep, 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 you're done. It's usually 5 seconds and I'm completely obliterated by whatever. And I really get in my feelings about it. And it gives me more anxiety. And so this modality, again, anything that we suggest for you guys, you don't have to do it. This modality doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, there's things that you've discussed that really didn't work for me. So...
But video games are a thing, and my wife loves it.
Video games, yes. At 55, yes, I still love video games.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she's not the only one. So what about like some people like board games, but that usually takes, or even like solitaire. The solitaire that counts like a video game.
All games, I think. I like video games. I like games on my phone. I play Words with Friends very competitively with my other son and his wife.
Let's not even go into the Words with Friends between the three of them with Words with Friends. I don't even call it
Scrabble Go.
Oh, Scrabble Go. Yes. Words with Friends was what we had back.
That's what we played.
Yes.
Same thing, but different.
Kind of crazy too. But with our eldest and his wife, she plays the Scrabble game, and it gets very competitive. I don't even go there. I don't put myself there because I know that if they're upset now, I'm like, I can only imagine what will happen to me. And I'm like, no, I can't.
Even physically, like playing pool. My son comes over. It's really on. He came over this weekend and he beat me 3-0. He never beats me. He never beats me.
I didn't know that.
So and
you're beating the mama.
But that's okay. I'm beating him in Scrabble Go right now, and I never beat him. He tells me I'm cheating. But, any type of game, be it on a board, shooting basketball, on a computer, I just love it. It's a way for me to just, I guess, lose myself. and not be thinking of what I have to do, what I'm supposed to be doing, what I just finished doing, what, the responsibility isn't there.
So the timing, you don't lose the time. Like, do you lose time? Like
No,
Eva does?
no. I guess that comes with age and responsibility,
Mhm.
because there's no losing time. It's still, if I know that I have, this to do at a certain time, I have to be available for another appointment or whatever. I know when I sit down, I only got time for, a few minutes to, sit down, relax, do whatever it is I'm trying to do with the game.
Mhm.
And then I'm up and on to the next thing. And then when I'm finished, I'll go back and play some more.
Mhm.
So, I think that comes with maturity, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
There's an internal clock that happens there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. Sure.
But VR, I can get where VR, you definitely can lose time, because when I get into Wonder, yes, an hour will go by and I'm like, wow, I was in France for an hour. Or I jumped around from France to India to Italy to, Rome to Jamaica to Costa Rica to wherever. I actually went back home to my home street. And that was kind of cool. And I just lost time because I was in it for, so long. And had Emmanuel not been on the outside, like, hey, this is, maybe you're going to start getting a headache if you stay, I think that, at least because you're on the outside, it's different in the virtual world. In the virtual world, maybe that's it.
I think the problem I have with the VR is because, there it is. Because I have suffered with a couple of strokes, a lot of the up close in my face moving and all of that kind of messes with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't do that for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So the VR is not my choice of release.
Yeah, and those gaming equipment, the Oculus and all of that, they're fairly expensive. We're talking about $300 for this gaming device. So before you decide to go and purchase something like this to try to step into this kind of world, the virtual world, try it out first and make sure that your body can handle it, because it can be a little disorienting, especially when you're older or you've had something like a stroke or a TIA, for example, or you tend to get vertigo or whatever. So definitely, and don't do it by yourself. Have someone else available that if you are to stumble, because you are wearing it over your eyes, if you were to stumble, just make sure your area that you're in is open. You don't have any things that you could trip over, that kind of thing.
Did you mention to them what Emmanuel plans to do with it for the seniors, for the clients?
Yes, to see if we can get a senior to be able to put it on, to be able to experience something they haven't experienced, or maybe step into a dream that they have, to be able to say, hey.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Because offering something like that to the seniors, I'm sure no one else has ever thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always
because of the disorientation, because you do get disoriented, and some people can handle it and some people can't. And I'm not saying that a senior can handle it. Definitely should try it and see if it's something that can be done. But some people, they can step into that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great idea, because not just for the caregiver, but the client.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something you can do together.
That's true. One of the things we did at our home, and actually I think it was Emmanuel that did this with Grandma. He found on YouTube, he figured out, he found for my mom on YouTube on her phone, her old church in Jamaica. And they had been broadcasting online. And he found the church and was like, hey, Grandma, you can be in church again. And because that church filmed everybody dancing and jumping and singing and
the drum
all of
playing
that, and the drum playing, we put it on our big screen TV in the living room. And my mom would get up. I mean, stuff would be hurting and whatnot. But
this close to the TV.
She was right here. The TV was right to, and she was in it because it was a big TV. And she was in the celebration with the rest of everybody dancing and singing. And she didn't have to put on a virtual reality thing because, of course, she was able to get up close. But I had it blasted real loud. She heard the drumming and the singing. And every now and again, you would hear her say, hallelujah. And then we all were like, okay, we can't handle this no more. It's nothing but 24/7 church on the TV. So we put headphones on mom. And, so the TV would be running, mom would have her headphones in, and she'd be dancing at the front of the TV, and she'd go, hallelujah. And then the little baby that was staying with us, Crimson, she
3
started
years old.
watching her TV on her little computer screen in
Little
front of her,
frog
and then
thing.
she would say, hallelujah.
But she saw grandma do it.
Yep. And so it was a way to use technology, and video games is a part of the technology that, can be used to help us to step out of the other stuff, it's just so amazing. It's amazing to be able to have all these different things. And, I don't know. I just think it's really incredible to have all these different experiences that we can use to get us to step out of, oh my gosh, I'm here again. I'm doing something again that now is going to pull my energy again. How can I then step into 2 seconds of get on your phone and play Candy Crush?
Only if I'm playing with Bonnie, because I don't really play Candy Crush so much.
I mean, you just never know, because if you're doing something like that, remember Bejeweled?
Oh, I love Bejeweled.
Oh, Bejeweled.
I would get lost in Bejeweled.
Oh man, 10 minutes of Bejeweled and you just feel like rejuvenated.
And then I changed phones and couldn't find it again.
I know. I don't know what happened to Bejeweled.
It was distressing.
Oh. So as we are coming closer and closer to the end of our show, let's talk about examples of when to use video games.
Well, anytime that you need a release, like if you're having a hard day with your kids or your parent, or, you just need to get away for a moment, lose yourself,
Step into the other room and plug in.
Hit it up.
Yeah, plug in. It doesn't matter what kind of video game, right? Because it could be on your phone. It could be something that you have equipment with.
Whatever it is that calls to your spirit.
Yeah. And if you don't know, ask a young person. They will definitely tell you all about it. Especially one that is passionate about gaming, because it is something that is very healing. Do you know, Emmanuel said to me when he was young, he said, Mom, I want to create a video game that would, what did he say? It'd be like a game that a sick kid could play. Like, let's say they had a diagnosis that was really like cancer, for example. And in the game, they'd be able to kill the cancer. Like,
oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And when the doctors do something, it kind of uploads to the video game. Anyway, I told him, he said, you're going into the health field. We could do this together. And I was like, I'm sure something like this might already exist. I don't know. Who knows? Y'all might have heard it here first. And that might be what he ends up doing with his life. Who knows?
Because he does create video games.
He does create video games. So I just wanted to just be like, And okay, so you can use it to unwind, going back to when we can use a tool when you want to unplug from life, unplugging from this virtual world. I feel sometimes like I'm in a virtual world. Like, this is the avatar that my soul has been given, is this body, this human body. I'm in the human video game. And all the players and stuff. And at the moment, I only have one life. I don't have multiple lives. So I only have this one life. So I have to be careful not to lose it, which sometimes can give me a little bit of fright.
So video games, you say you don't really play them. I have seen you, and this is another instance where you can use them, when you want to connect with the younger generation.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you and Emmanuel in, what's it, Easy Street Video Arcade. Yes. Oh my God, I thought I was watching two 15-year-olds. When actually it was one 15-year-old and a 38-year-old, or however old you were at the time. I was like watching this and I'm like, wow.
I had to find some way to connect to my gamer son. And because video games was not my thing, it was easy for you because you could connect easily because you had the same love and passion, but I didn't understand it. Like, I was like, okay, 10 seconds and I'm done. So I had to find something where I could connect. And that was what the Terminator game did for us. We were able to step into, I can click a button. I can do that part.
And you didn't have to play against him. You could play with him.
Correct.
I
And
think
he was
that
like, I
helped.
got your back, mama. We'd be
Yeah.
like diving and swerving and carrying on. And I'm sure it was an interesting thing to watch us, but you know, it was fun. And I was
Yes.
able to connect with him. So now I was like, okay, we don't have this Terminator game. What can we do? And we now connect through VR, which I love, absolutely love now. So where can we learn more about video games?
Ask Emmanuel.
Ask young people. You can go online and say video games near me, and different gaming shops will pop up, and GameStopper and Easy Street and all over, and young people will tell you. And I feel like just connecting to that part of them. Like everybody thinks that this is this thing that is laziness. If you plug into the gaming world, like you're somehow lazy. And that's kind of what we've been telling our kids. But why not say that if you plug into the gaming world, you are expanding your creativity, you know, and also calming your nerves. Because that was one way to get my very ADHD son to calm down, was to plug into video games.
And you know, and I get that because I do play, but both of our sons, the 37-year-old and the 25-year-old, will sit and watch on YouTube or wherever they look it up, sit and watch other people play. That,
so YouTube is another way you can learn about video games.
yeah, I haven't quite understood that connection, but apparently it's
When
a
I
way.
ask them now, I ask the young people why they do that. And our daughter doesn't play the game, but she watches others play the game. And she said that when she's watching someone play the game, because there's all these different random choices that you can make, those choices then puts a different storyline in place in the game. And that's how it works. So if a gamer chooses to take this direction instead of that direction in the game, they have a different storyline. I open the thing instead of closing the thing, it's a different storyline. So the people watching get to watch in real time the story unfold. And that's
So
why
it's kind of
they
like
do it.
watching a movie, but in video world.
Correct. And
Okay.
that's also that's how they explained it. And I think that's kind of cool. I'm like, okay, I get it, because it's like a movie, only that movie changes depending on who the
choices
director
made.
is.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then they just get to observe it, especially if it's a game they love. Because now they don't have to go through the mechanisms of creating it. And that's why they watch it.
And they're probably learning from the mistakes and stuff that other people have. So when they do play, okay.
And that in itself is relaxing, because now they don't have to engage their physical body, can rest, but their mind is still involved in the game. So they still get the relaxation. Isn't that something? Yeah. And that's all on YouTube, by the way. If you're looking for that kind of situation where you get to watch somebody. Thank you, Bonnie. Yes, we try to bring different things because, you know, again, people are different, right? And different things appeal to different people. And we'd all say, you know, kumbaya. Who would have thought that this is a kumbaya moment to plug into a video game? Because what I see on the outside is this. Damn, I can't believe you. What's wrong with you? That's what I see on the outside. I'm not thinking you're relaxing when you're going through that.
It's a release.
Apparently.
It's a release. Yes.
Apparently, it's. I mean, I get how VR is relaxing because that's how I experience it. But when I watch you guys play, I'm like, oh my gosh. But now it's where else can you find out more about this tool? YouTube. You can watch these people game. And I'm telling you, to watch it, it's just like, wow, intense. And that's where that whole, and Twitch, I believe, is the other gaming platform that they use. And you can watch them play on there. And Instagram and Facebook. I mean, they load all kinds of stuff up there that you can watch and kind of see what we're talking about.
You see, I guess I've always been a doer, not a watcher, because even when it came to sports, when I was younger and played basketball all the time, but to sit and watch a basketball game, watch somebody else play, not so much.
And there's some,
you know, and
who would never pick up a basketball, but you better believe they've watched it enough and they're invested in every single player and every single outcome. So much so that they're screaming into their TV.
Trust my sister before she passed, which was one of the people that, you know, I was doing the caregiving for. She would name off these players. Oh, this person got traded from this team and then they got traded them for that and whatever. at 71 years old. Female, not my brother, my sister. And, you know, it was just a way for her to be involved in something, you know? So I was like, shit, did you see that happen? No, I did not. Thank you. No, I was out on that.
So before we go, I just want y'all to get a little taste of this again. So if we can just add Emmanuel's little clip here.
Create this game.
And you notice what's happening in your body just watching him run.
You actually have to swing your arms and everything.
So the actual VR is like exercise for people.
Right.
Can be exercise.
So while he's going through that and he's panting, my body is responding by watching and feeling that. Is that crazy? Even though I'm not the one in the game. So even if all you do is watch, sometimes you can get the benefits. The relaxation can happen just by watching. I just enjoy having these conversations. It's very interesting, the different things that we do to replenish ourselves. And hey, you never know, man. Somebody may have a great idea that we might want to share on the show. So definitely let us know.
Yeah,
Hit us up
like
in the
you said,
comments.
different things work for different people. So, you know, there's one coming up that I'm definitely going to be out on because I got nothing. But, you know, a lot of people find it so relaxing. So, yeah, that's not me. So I'll probably not be on there because I would have nothing to share.
It's okay. What's wonderful is that we know a lot of people who do all these different modalities and we don't have people coming on. So I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us and talking about this and lending your thoughts to everything.
So much fun hanging out with you guys.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Love you. Bye.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferlin Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a super special thank you to Dr. Tracy Brown, RSCP. Thanks for being a super donor. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.